Despite multiple trade rumors around the Cleveland Cavaliers and what they could be looking to do for their core, the Cavs continue to show that they're going all in on this core after re-signing Jarret Allen. We're going to talk about it all and more, but first, got to play our intro.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm one of the hosts here, Haize, holding it down for the team, and we got breaking news again. Jarret Allen has signed a 3-year, $91 million maximum contract extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers. This guarantees him $131 million over the next 5 seasons. He becomes the third player that the Cleveland Cavaliers have now signed to long-term extensions to go with Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. Keep in mind, they already got Darius Garland locked in for a long time as well. Jarret Allen averaged 16.5 points per game, 10 rebounds, 2.7 assists. Jarret Allen is a solid player. And when you look at what Jarret Allen brings to the court, he brings a nice big who brings some shot blocking ability, things like that. He's a very nice big to be next to Evan Mobley. And while the Cleveland Cavaliers have gone all in the core, a core where a lot of people thought that they could possibly be looking to either trade Darius Garland, or they could look to trade Donovan Mitchell, or they could look to move on from Evan Mobley or Jarret Allen, they're now doubling down on this core. Now, this is for now. And the reason why I like this move for the Cavs is that you lock in Jarret Allen to a solid deal. He's now under contract for 5 more seasons. If you do look, and I'm saying if, Cavs fans, don't kill me. I'm saying if the Cavs do decide to look to move on and Jarret Allen is part of that deal, they need to kind of jigger their core or anything, is that you get more back now for Jarret Allen. He's still only 26 years old, but now that you have him locked in on a contract for the next 5 years, that is when you get more back. Teams have to put in more picks, things like that. And so if the Cavs were to decide to move off any member of this core because of the amount of years that they're locked into, this gains them a little bit more flexibility if they do need if they decide they need to make a trade to stay in that competitive Eastern Conference. So we'll see. This is an offseason where there's been a lot of change in that Eastern Conference. When you look at the fact of the New York Knicks bringing in Mikal Bridges, they lost Isaiah Hartenstein as well, and they have already said that they're not looking to move on from Julius Randle. They're hoping that they get Mitchell Robinson back healthy. The Knicks have made improvements, and I really like that Knicks team, but it's not that they've made improvements to where they're clearly head and shoulders above a team like the Cleveland Cavaliers, especially if the Cavs get some more kind of development from their team, and another year of continuity helps them kind of move on to the next phase of that team. Of course, we know what the Philadelphia 76ers have done in that Eastern Conference to improve that team around Joel Embiid, really adding a lot of depth to that team, adding Paul George, who was the number one free agent by many people on the market. But the Cavs they're locked into this core. And they're locked in the sense that they have everybody locked into contracts, but they still do have flexibility. And we've seen it in the NBA in over the last few years. You lock a player into more years. If you do decide to move them, they get their money. It benefits the player, and it could also benefit you as the team as long as there's no major setback from in your ability to get more back for a player like that. So I like this move for the Cavs. I like what the Cavs have done here to try to stay competitive in the East. They got some things that they need to work on for sure, but overall, the Cleveland Cavaliers are really trying to make sure that they stay in their place in that Eastern Conference while still adding some flexibility. And so we'll see what comes from the Cavs. I see we got a Cav fan in here. But yeah, overall, I think that Cavs fans are probably going to be happy with this move, right? This is a move where you lock in a player that has been really solid for you. You're hoping that Evan Mobley is going to be able to, take his game another step up. He's probably the player that you're looking for. If Evan Mobley takes another step, it really does change that Cavaliers team a whole hell of a lot. But overall, your core is pretty much locked in. And if they do decide to evaluate that core, you got Darius Garland, who's locked in under contract into the 2027-28 season, which is really good. You got Donovan Mitchell as well, who you got some flexibility there with Donovan Mitchell, but he's also locked in to 2027-28 when he has a player option in that year to decide what he's going to do with. That's a solid deal for you as well. You got now Jarret Allen locked in for a long term on his contract, and then Evan Mobley as well is locked into the 2029-30 season. So you got those 4 players all locked into long-term deals. But they're not immovable deals, right? You don't have the crazy type of contracts to where if you do need to move on from these guys, it's extremely impossible. Jarret Allen at the end of his contract is going to be making about $32 million. So still a lot, that's still in the modern NBA, a pretty flexible contract. And that's why you got a lot like what the Cleveland Cavaliers have done here and how they've structured it, right? They've maintained now some flexibility to where they're not going to lose any of these guys for nothing, right? And at least not in the soon future, right? And then you've gained some flexibility if you do need to move them. Teams are going to have them locked into contracts for years, so that's how you get a couple of more picks. They got solid role players and like Max Strus there as well. I like some of what they've done. So the Cavs and where they sit in the Eastern Conference is going to be fun to watch and just interesting to watch overall how this Eastern Conference shakes out. We know that the Eastern Conference is definitely looked at and definitely has been the lesser conference when compared to the Western Conference, but this is still going to be an East that is extremely, extremely competitive when you look at it. And now if you look at those top kind of 4 or 5 teams in the East, Boston's still going to be up there. The New York Knicks are still going to be up there. The Milwaukee Bucks, we'll see what happens there. The Cleveland Cavaliers are right there, number 4. But then you got teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, the Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers, even the Miami Heat, who always seem to fluctuate, right? They're all going to be competing for those next 4 spots under those 4 teams. But I really don't expect the top 4 teams in the East to change too much unless Philadelphia 76ers really kind of take off and the roster construction is amazing. So we'll see what happens there. But overall, Jarret Allen, 3-year deal, $91 million extension to stay with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And make sure you guys stay tuned in right here at NBA Central because as news drops, we drop, and we'll be bringing those full-length episodes to you as well with the whole team. You can follow us at NBA Central Show. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBACentralShow@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number 1 spot for everything basketball related, and we'll see you guys the next time we feel like dropping a video.